Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder again with another AITA story for you. This one is Am I the Astronaut for telling my mom to treat my brothers the same way she treats me? I, 22 female, have two brothers. For the sake of this post, I'll call them John, 18 male, and Terry, 16 male. My mom, 50 female, has always had a stronger liking towards both John and Terry. Ever since they were little, they could do no harm in her eyes. Since I was little, I would always get in trouble for everything John and Terry did. If they hurt each other, it was my fault. If they did something wrong, it was my fault, etc. My mom always raised me as a caregiver. I had to basically take care of my little brothers. I was the one cooking, cleaning, washing, and ironing their clothes, buying them stuff they needed, helping them with their homework, etc. Go ahead and red flag this for parentification. However, due to me always doing everything for them, they have become the most useless human beings on the entire planet. They are almost adults and still don't want to do their own laundry, won't help with cooking, won't clean anything that they made a mess, and are just overall grubs, leaving their dirty dishes and clothes everywhere. Last night was the last straw for me when John spilled an entire bottle of orange juice on the floor and my mom told me to clean it up. I immediately started yelling at her, saying she failed as a parent, and instead of raising her sons to pull their own weight in this house and teaching them basic life skills, she let everyone else do it for them and never taught them a thing. She instantly started laughing at me and said I was insane to think that's how life really was there and that she raised all of us equally. I then told her that I can't wait till she grows old and will end up reliant on both of them because I won't be around to help her out with anything and she can see how well she raised them. She told me that won't be happening because she doesn't want them taking care of her when she's older. I stormed off into my room and cried for a good 10 minutes before packing a bag and driving to my boyfriend's house. When I told him what happened, he said he understands why I feel the way that I do, but that I was quite harsh towards my mom and I should apologize for lashing out at her like that. My friend also says that I'm the asshole and I shouldn't speak to my mom like that. My mom has since left 2 voicemails demanding I come back home now, probably because she needs the orange juice cleaned up. Right. I'm not going home until I have calmed down and she's not as angry. So, am I the asshole? Okay, we need some age reminders here. OP is a 22-year-old female and has 2 brothers, 18 and 16. 22-year-old girl, 18-year-old boy, 16-year-old boy, and she has had to pretty much take care of them. I guess the question is this an oldest sibling thing, or is this a parentification thing? We don't hear anything about dad here either. Maybe dad's not around, maybe dad's not in the picture. Maybe mom has this leftover sense of female duty where the women should be taking care of the men, which obviously isn't right, but she's forcing it onto her family. And now, they're 22, 18, and 16, and this is just now coming to a head. So what? What in the world? That sucks. I want to say, wouldn't that be less likely coming from a mom? But then you've got the baby boy syndrome, and she's got 2 of them. She's got 2 of her beautiful bouncy baby boys. Babes that she just views as golden children that can do no wrong. And unfortunately, her girl doesn't meet that criteria. So she ends up becoming the Cinderella who just has to clean up after them to do everything. Now, I can also say that siblings probably look at each other in the late teen portion of their lives and they're like, you're disgusting. You have disgusting habits. And it could just be part of that. She knows who they are on the daily because she sees them in their most relaxed, grubby kind of setting. So it could be amplified by the fact that she has been parentified, if that's how you say it, this whole time, and she's just frustrated with it. Obviously, this whole situation is out of hand, and obviously she's not teaching her sons to do anything for themselves, so they're going to go out there and look for wives that will essentially do what their sister has been doing for them to this point, not mom, sister, and taking care of everything for them, waiting on them hand and foot, cleaning up their OJ messes, doing everything for them, which is garbage. And now we're going to be reading posts in 5 years where it's the wives of these 2 brozos that end up going and getting married, and they're like, my husband is completely worthless. Am I the asshole for wanting to leave him, or for telling him to do his own effing laundry, or for telling him to make his own damn sandwich, telling him to pick up his laundry off the ground? One of these things, we're going to see stories from whoever they end up with because they're going to end up subjecting them to the same kind of thing. Maybe there are ladies out there that are okay with it and they can find a good pairing, but it's garbage. It is straight garbage. And I understand. Different cultures have different views about many, many things. And a lot of it I'm just not going to understand because I didn't have that experience growing up. OP isn't okay with it though. And that should tell you something. If it is a culture thing, OP needs to get out because she has a problem with it. It's interesting. And by interesting, I mean shitty. It sucks that there are people out there who have had this culture view or this worldview ingrained in them to the point where they just hardwire it into their children as well, even to the detriment of other children. And in this case, OP, I think the smartest thing that you can do is just get the F out. Get the F away from it. It's obviously causing you a lot of pain. So create distance. You're 22. It's time. Let's talk about OP, we know, is not the asshole here for wanting to get out of this. Mom. Let's talk about mom for a second. Is this a straight to ascon one thing? Making the assumption that this is a culture thing or this is how she was brought up, even when confronted with it, denies it and says that she raised them the same. She raised them equally. Is this a straight to ascon one thing? It feels like it is. I don't feel like there's any redemption from this. But also, if this is a culturistic view that I just don't understand, then that's just something I don't understand. We may have to hedge against the ascon one a little bit because of some culture possibilities that we don't understand there. I think that's safe. It's safe if we say 2 because there's a strong possibility that there is a culture factor in this that set the precedent, which sucks. It doesn't make it okay, but really want to hit ascon 1 because it is a terrible thing to do. If she's repeating the patterns of her forefathers or foremothers, is that a thing? Then it's culture. When confronted with it, instead of saying that she raised them all the same, she likely would have said, no, in our culture, girls are supposed to do this, boys are supposed to do this. And she didn't say that. So we may be ascon 1 on this. I just have a feeling that there's something that prevents us from getting to 1. I don't know though. Okay, screw it. Let's do it. We're not going to play it safe on this. We're going to go with the gut. And the gut is this is a terrible human thing to do. Even if it was a cultural thing, the consensus is that she would have brought that up and said that in our culture, women do this, men do this. But that's not what she said. She said that she raised them all equally when that clearly wasn't the case. There was a lot of parentification going on here. And also, it seems like this was largely a gender thing where she wants the golden boys to be weighted on hand and foot. And Cinderella here gets to just do all the dirty work. And even at 22, when one of them, who is 18 or 16, spills the effing OJ, mom still tells the 22-year-old Cinderella to clean it up. We're at ascon 1.